replay and not make you wait. For those who might be coming in a little later, even though we're going live right at 8 o'clock, I literally just put this on our Facebook, our Instagram challenge as well, Instagram channel, should say challenge. You'll see why I'm mixing up channel and challenge in a second. But if you're new to our platform, my name is Alan C. Paul. I'm the host and founder of God and Gigs, and our podcast and our community and our books. Everything is related to helping you become a better creative, a more confident creative from the inside out by applying timeless spiritual principles to temporary creative problems. So thank you for joining me. If you're here for the first time, you're among friends. You are maybe found us through Facebook, maybe you found us through Instagram, the socials, maybe a friend who's also a musician, creative, entrepreneur, author, filmmaker, poet. We cover all of these different areas of the uh, creative lifestyle here. And it's really just a joy for me to be a part of this community and to kind of basically lead it by example, doing things like this, going live and showing up, even when it's not convenient, like on a holiday, Memorial Day weekend, when people might be traveling. And I said, you know what? Doesn't matter. I originally planned to do a webinar tonight at this very time. And I said, okay, it's on the schedule. Even though we decided not to do the webinar, I said, let me show up anyway. So if you are watching on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube, let me know that you're watching. I can always get you in here so you can kind of see what's going on here. Let me go ahead and pipe up. Wait, I'm going to wait. And if you're watching me on Instagram, you're not going to see all this other stuff, but you will at least know that we are with you. And you can always say hello there. Show me and tell me where you're watching from. Let's go ahead and type because I am my own host right now and my own creative checkup. So I can always see what you guys are doing. If you're watching in our YouTube, in our Facebook group, you will not be able to tell me your name. Your name will not pop up. So check up. There we go. Let's just make sure this is working. All right, there we go. All right, so you can see that I can see your comments and you can see your own comments. So I would love for you to check in there. All right, so we're having a little issue with Instagram. I'm not sure why it's not working, but we'll just have to leave that be. So why are we sharing tonight? What are we here to do on this creative checkup? Well, as I mentioned, this Memorial Day weekend, and this is the season that usually we consider the unofficial start of summer. So if you're like me in South Florida, living in South Florida, this is both the season that we look forward to and a season that many of us dread. Because I don't know about where you are watching from, but in South Florida, the summer is basically the dead zone when it comes to the gigs, when it comes to music at least. All of our snowbirds head back up to New York and the Northeast. So that means everybody that came down here to either the country clubs or things like that, some of these more high profile gigs that are, kind of like the country clubs type thing, and, where you get to play for these very, very, very affluent people, that usually goes away in the summertime. So for some of us, there's a dip in the summer when it comes to time and gigs. There's more time available, less gigs available. But maybe you're in another creative space or living in another area where the summer is a good season for you. Either way, it's a season where things change. It's a season when you might have been doing something, but now it's time to do something different. If you're a parent, I'm a parent now, but I don't have small kids anymore. But when I had small kids and when I was a teacher, the summer was definitely different because it meant kids are home and I'm out of work if I'm a teacher or I'm teaching summer school, but things were definitely different. So there's always this kind of shift in the summertime, no matter where you live, there's always this kind of change. And so why I wanted to talk to you in this Memorial Day weekend is because I wanted you to have a setup for summer success as a creative. Why that's so important is because, like I said, there's a season for things when things change that you should be able to take advantage of. And if you are in our Guiding Gigs community, you've seen that I've posted a couple of things that might help you to set yourself up for success. But first, I wanted to make sure that you kind of were on the same page that this is a season you should take advantage of. We're about, I'd say, a month away from the exact midpoint of the year, but we're 5, 6 months in to the year. So it's a midpoint part where you can look back. Maybe you had some New Year's resolutions. Maybe you said, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to have this project done. I'm going to create this thing. I'm going to put this project out. And you said that back in January. Well, my question to you is, how is that going for you? How is your creative journey looking at this midpoint part of the year? You're headed into the summer. You've had 5 months. Maybe things have come up. Maybe economically things have affected you. Maybe you haven't had the motivation that you thought you'd have. Whatever it is, let me know in the comments, like, what goals have you set that you've seen either you've got some momentum, or maybe you're not seeing momentum at all. Maybe you got off track. Maybe you started something in January and February. You had a lot of energy, had a lot of drive. For me, it was, I want to write a book this year. I wanted to get back into writing a book, and I wanted to get back into songwriting because I had put a lot of that on the back burner. And I got to be honest with you, a lot of that did not go the way that I wanted it to, simply because it was just not in my, I guess you could say, I had it on my to-do list, but it never really got into my actions, and I wasn't being accountable to anybody. So that really kind of affected my ability to stick with what I said I was going to do. So I had to be transparent. I didn't stick with a lot of my New Year's goals, and I tried to stay away from New Year's goals, as a matter of fact. I try to think more in 12 weeks, and this is kind of like going to go into what I'm going to talk about in a second. But thinking about your New Year's goals, the things you wanted to create, let me know in the comments if you're doing okay with those things, if you're still sticking with the things you said you'd do at the beginning of the year, or have you kind of had a little bit of a struggle? Have they dropped off a little bit? Are you still feeling like some frustration? Maybe there's some things that you started and you got off track because whatever, family, work, relationships, church, whatever it is, we're juggling a lot of things. And if that got in the way, let me know in the comments. Or maybe you're doing well and you're sticking with it. That's an awesome thing. And by the way, like I said, if you're watching in the Facebook group, make sure to put your name and let me know who's watching. Because if you're watching in the Facebook group, it won't show me your name right away. Okay. So if you're in a place where you've had some struggles, where you started some projects, but life has gotten in the way, you're not alone. You're not alone. Okay. I want to make sure you hear me there, because creators, we are awesome, way too good at beating ourselves up. Okay. We're really good at beating ourselves up, making ourselves feel like I should have done more. I should have been more proactive. I should have been more productive. I should have more music out by now. I should have more of my projects out by now. And even when we do things, we tend to look back at them and we get really, really, really frustrated because I could have done better or this. So there's so many things that end up affecting the way that you look at your own creative life. And one of the things that kind of affects that is isolation. If you're feeling isolated, if you're feeling like you really haven't had that push, and maybe you've been relying on social media to kind of give you that feeling of connection. Maybe you've been, in a certain circle of creatives and you've been hanging out with them, but you really haven't made it a priority to hang out with them. You know how, like, some of us are like introvert extroverts, or we're extroverted introverts, and we try to like flex that. And you say you're going to hang out, and you say you're going to go to this gig, and you say you're going to go to this concert, or go to this museum, and you're going to really be in the crowd. You're going to go to this conference, and then you're like, but it's so expensive, and I don't really feel like going out today. And you never actually connect with those people. Or in social media, you say you're going to hang out, you say you're going to like text somebody, you say you're going to do a collab and things like that, and it just never quite happens. Has that happened to you? If that's happened to you, put it in the chat. Have you ever said you're going to connect and be more social as a creative, and it didn't happen? So isolation, our friend Aaron Walker, who we done a podcast earlier, and he said isolation is the enemy of excellence. So if you have considered yourself feeling like I need to push forward, but I just don't have the motivation, it might be because you've been isolated. It might be because you've been thinking in your own head, and you get in your own head and you stay in your own head, and you never get out of your own head. And that creates this kind of inertia. Let's say it like this. Let's say that inertia is created by isolation. By being by yourself in your own head, you never quite get that push to do what you were planning to do. And it creates this kind of frustration in your head, like, I can't do this. I'm never going to get this started. I kind of had this idea. And here, let's be honest. What's the other issue? After isolation that could stop you from your summer success, it can be income. It can be money. Not having any income, feeling like you don't have the income to make something happen can absolutely stop you. If you've had that issue of income or lack of money stopping you from pushing forward into the summer, feeling like, okay, like I said, many of us that are working music at least, we see a dip when the gigs dry up. And now, where am I going to get funds to do the next thing? Where am I going to get funds to do the EP? Where am I going to get funds? So the income can be another thing that makes you feel like you have no ability to push forward, and you get into the cycle of frustration. Okay, well, guess it's not going to happen this summer. Guess it's not going to happen this year. So if that's you, put that in the comments as well. If you felt stuck by income, lack of it, or if you felt stuck by isolation. Okay, either one of those things. Let's see here. Make sure we had our chat. All right, I see Hey Coach. I know who that is. Whenever I say Hey Coach, even though you're in the group and I can't see your name, I'm pretty sure that's Precious. So, Precious, good to see you because you're the only one that refers to me as Coach. So, I'm very, very grateful to you for being a part of this. And even if you would kind of jump in, jump out, and Instagram never worked out, by the way. I don't know why my Instagram refused to let me on. So, somebody that if anyone that's kind of who wants to watch on Instagram, let them know we're not on Instagram today because my phone clearly doesn't like me and doesn't want us to be on Instagram. So she said, "You better know it." Yep, that's you. I know it. I know you. I know who is in my corner. I've been so impressed with what you've been doing lately, my friend. So thanks for being a part of this. But yeah, let's continue talking about the issues that come with why people kind of get bogged down right before the summer break. Now, by the way, I thank you even for watching this. If you're watching this during the summer break, during this Memorial Day weekend, because a lot of people are traveling, a lot of people are, kicking back with their family. You've got on the road. So I said, you know what, this may not be a widely attended one, but at least we have it recorded. So whenever you're watching this, I appreciate you to take time during your holiday. But that's kind of where I'm getting at. After the holidays over, after Memorial Day is over, after we've given honor to those who lost their lives. We've given honor and we've attended, a parade or something like that. That's what I'm going to be doing actually tomorrow. I'm going to be performing at a senior citizens home and doing kind of like a tribute to our veterans and those who lost their lives with a friend of mine. So we're going to actually do a performance for Memorial Day, which is really special for me. I like to actually do something for Memorial Day. So that actually makes me feel very good that I'm actually going to be performing and kind of giving tribute to those people. But of course, the rest of us are jumping out, going to the beach or whatever, going travel. All that to say, when you get back from your beach trip, when you get back, what's waiting for you? What are you going to do with the second half of the year? And by the way, if you guys are wondering, June 1st, why it's special for me, June 1st is my birthday. Happy birthday to me coming up. I don't like to talk about it a lot, but yeah, I'm trying to keep this, try to keep it moving, trying to keep my energy going, trying to eat right and get healthy so that I can live a little bit longer. So I'm grateful for another year of life. But June 1st marks like that central part again, like right around the middle of the year. So what's waiting for you? Are you ready for a push into the summer? Are you ready for the next season to be your most productive season? Or is the summer looking like, oh boy, lack of inspiration, lack of people, lack of income, and I feel like I'm just gonna kind of like tread through water the next 3 months and just try to make things happen. Now, Precious, you're in this. I know you're not like that, okay? And there's other creators in our circle, in our creative community, and God Gates community that are not sitting back. Matter of fact, whether they got kids at home, whether they got vacations, they're like gearing up for the summer. They are saying, okay, just like people say summer body, you got to get ready for summer body. Like they're already gearing up now for the summer to be like, let's go. Like, let's make the next 3 months, the next 12 weeks, like a springboard into the fall and into the winter and into like a really, really, really amazing end of 2023. They're not waiting for conditions to change. They're not looking at the recession. They're not looking at different things and saying, oh my gosh, things are so bad. We got the elections coming up and all these other things. Thank you so much for that, by the way. Yes, thank you for giving me my birthday wishes. I appreciate that. Yep, I got what, 4 more days to go. I got a big performance coming up, so I'm not even thinking about like doing anything this weekend because we got a big performance all weekend long. So me and my wife, for the first time, we're on the same show. This has never happened. I was going to talk about this. I don't know if I have like a time to do it, but we are on the same show for the first time ever. So we are going to be performing together this weekend, doing some sitcom theme songs for this really cool show. We're doing African American theme songs, so we're doing Good Times, and we're doing the Jeffersons, That's My Mama, Sanford and Son, In Living Color. It's a dope show. Like, I can't wait to do this show. I want to share it. I've shared it a little bit in a couple other places. I keep forgetting to talk about this stuff, but this is the example I'm talking about. The summer for me, I've changed some things so that I have more time to focus on what's important and really drive some projects home. Like, I really want to get God in gigs. This is a perfect example. Like me doubling down on this summer of success. I want to talk about why we're presenting this platform, or this promotion, I should say, for those of you who are not members of God in Gigs 360, because of the things I just mentioned. If you're isolated, you're not going to have you're not set up for success because you're stuck in your own head. If you are lacking in income, you're stuck because you need money to get things started and you don't know how to do it and how to get money, Kickstarter started, or get your audience to start supporting you through Patreons and things like that. And then if you are stuck in inspiration, which I just mentioned, which is that motivation, that feeling that people are on your side, that you're not just out here by yourself. It's different from isolation, because isolation means you're by yourself, but inspiration means you don't know what to do or what is driving you, what's your why. And what I've found is if you are lacking in a why, it's because you've lost focus on what really matters to you. And you know what usually helps you to get that sense of what matters to you is when other people tell you. And this is a weird thing, right? Because you would think that your why is very personal. But I've found in my 25, 26 years of creating that most of the time, the people that know what matters to me most are other people, because they point out, hey, that thing you did, you see how your eyes lit up? I love when you do X. I love when you do Y. I love watching you do this. And other people will give you instances and give you reminders of your why. And that inspiration is what keeps you going, and it'll set you up for that success. If you have other people that are in the same mindset, who believe what you believe, who know what you want to know, and want to grow the way you want to grow, okay? Those all have to be in place. If you do not have people in your circle who believe what you believe, who know what you want to know, and want to grow the way you want to grow, if they're lacking in those things, you're not going to find inspiration. And if you are stuck in any way, shape, or form in that thing, just let me know if that's one of those three things. If you have ever had a season where you felt you didn't know something, you were stuck because you didn't know something. Okay, so maybe you didn't have access to the information on how to build a YouTube channel. You didn't know how to break down a funnel to kind of build up some income to get some things going. You didn't know how to publish your book. You didn't know who to go to. Has there ever been a situation where you didn't know something? Put that in the comments if you've ever been there. Okay, if you didn't know something. Let me go ahead and put this chat in here so everybody can see what's going on over here. Oh, new comments. Okay, so they can't see the old comments yet. They'll pop up when the new comments were. So have you ever, so many times? Okay, so what was your response? I guess so. Precious, you're with me here, and I know there'll be other people watching later. How did you fix that? I guess is my question. How did you fix it when you didn't know something? Like, how did you break out of? Did you go to YouTube? Did you talk to people? Did you get like some? I mean, you got an amazing family. Did you get some family advice? Like when you needed a resource or you didn't know something, where did you go? I'd love for you to answer that one because I think that's going to help some people. Because I know I've done a couple of these things. I've gone to people, I've joined programs, I have gone and invested in information. Anytime I was like stuck because people, the Bible says people perish for a lack of knowledge. So anytime that I was stuck because I did not know where to move or how to move or what to do, I always, always, always made sure I connected with another group or a mentor, talking to people who are doing things I want. Yes, okay, so that's key. Doing things. I noticed something you did there, Precious. You did not say talking to people who were just talking. Isn't that interesting that you talk to people who were doing things? And I think that is like so important because we can get into the cycle of just listening to people who are talking about the thing. We get into talking about, oh, here's what's going on in the music industry. Oh, here's what's going on in the creative industry. Oh, here's what's going on in social media. Here's what's going on. And everyone's talking about it and talking about it. And this is a revolving cycle. Meanwhile, this is what I found out. People who are doing don't talk as much. Isn't that interesting? The ones who are doing the most stuff, you see them on social media rarely. Or if you see them on social, they like post and go, post and go, post and go, because they're always doing something. So anytime they're posting, they're kind of posting it in like reverse, where they're kind of talking about what they just did. They're not posting about what they're doing. They let the results speak. Exactly. By the way, anybody else that's watching, I see a couple of people that are coming in. If you're watching, let me know where you're watching from or who you are, because as you can see, sometimes we can't see the names. But if you're watching, go ahead and put a comment in. Let me know you're with us, if you're enjoying this, and then you can kind of also comment, let us know that you also have had an issue with something that you needed to know and you had to know. So that's the first one. So you got to know some things. You got to know where to go in order to get that information. So talk to people who are doing. Why do I bring that up? Because in God and Gigs 360, which Precious, you are definitely a member already, people are doing things. Like I can talk about right now, one of our amazing, amazing members of God and Gigs 360 Go, which is our creative community for coaching and instruction, where people are highly motivated, want to grow, and want to build creative success. That's where they're going, and that's where I'm really inviting you for the next couple of months. Well, actually, next couple of days. You only have a couple of days to join this for 3 months free, but I'll explain. They are doing things. So when I look at my friend Aaron over in London, and he's a member of God and Gigs 360 Gold. And I see that he has not only built up an incredible ministry, which he calls Worship on the Streets. He's a professional busker. Isn't that cool? A busker. You don't know what a busker is? Over here in the States, we see people playing on the streets and we might see them hanging, but he does a ministry of evangelism through playing music and worship on the streets in England. Incredible. He's doing something. We just had this cool member call where we talked about what he's doing. He's getting ready to expand this thing. He's connecting with his Patreon subscribers. He's doing stuff. Yes, right? Look, we are international. Look, I can put that in the bio now, can't I? International coaching and creative coaching for faith-focused creatives. I'm going to put that in the bio. I need to make a note. International, because we are worldwide now. And just the fact that I am connecting with someone who is doing stuff. Now, you know how inspired I am when I see one of our members that's out there creating, and he's doing all this for his Patreon community and things like that, and we can talk about that weekly. You know how inspiring that is? It's literally impossible for me to stay still and not do things when I'm around people who are doing things. Let me ask you a question. I'm going to be very real with you. How many of the people in your circle are doers, creative doers? If you want to get set up for summer success, I'm thinking you need to get around more doers. And here's why I'm saying this about God and Gigs 360 Gold, and why I'm really not being shy about talking about why you should be joining up with our program, especially with this promotion I'm about to tell you. Because you only get to, Precious, you said it so well, you only get to be a doer when you're around other doers. And I literally just got off the phone with one of our friends. She's an amazing creative. Shout out to La Vie, because you might be watching later. When we talked, like we're talking about doing things. She just finished her program. We are always working together as musicians. We're getting ready to do some other gigs. She's got a birthday coming up too. Shout out to Lovey. Happy birthday coming up. But we're doing stuff. And when she saw my ads for this very program that I'm talking about, she's like, I need to get working. It's infectious. Okay. We're a lot of I words today. We're talking about inspiration, talking about income, talking about not being isolated. And it's infectious when you get around other doers. And so the reason why it's so empowering for me to have the God Engage 360 program is because I know anytime I need to get around doers, all I gotta do is click a button and I'm in the membership and there are doers all around me. Nobody's sitting on their heels. Nobody's just chilling. No one's like, oh God, I want to have a career. Please, Lord, please bless me with a career. No one says, oh, I just want more likes on Facebook. Oh, I just want none of that. Like, we are not like that. We are not around people who talk. We're around people who do. The Bible even says that faith without works is dead. So if you have faith for a creative career, you have faith for what God put in your heart, but you have not been around doers, you are not set up for success, my friend. I'm very sorry to put that to you, but you have to get around doers. And if you're watching this on replay and it's before Memorial Day at midnight, you have a chance to get around doers. So let me quickly talk about this because I don't want people who are watching to not know what I'm talking about. So what you're going to see is this little ticker that pops up. Set yourself up for summer success. So let me explain this for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about. So the summer success is my challenge slash offer to you to join God Engage 360 Gold. And here's how we're going to set this up. I'm going to make it where there's no excuse. If you have not pushed forward with your goals because you're inspired, you have not been inspired, you felt isolated, or you had a lack of income, and you don't know how to get through those things because you don't have people around you who know what you want to know and want to grow the way you want to grow. Well, I'm erasing the excuse because we have a group, like I just mentioned, international coaching of creatives who are doing and who want to inspire you with biweekly member coaching calls, plus a whole bunch of basically everything God and Gigs has ever put out for the last 3 years, all in one place in our membership, which is our mastermind level coaching program, and giving you up until Memorial Day midnight Eastern free access for 90 days. 90 days, 12 weeks, the entire summer. So here's why this is important. I've never done this long of a trial or a membership, and I've never then guaranteed you, which is what I'm guaranteeing you, as long as you stay in God Engage 360 Gold, half price off the monthly membership for life. Why am I doing this? You might say, oh, it's a catch. I'm trying to just get you into a program. No, Precious could tell you. Semini, my friend who has just finished her devotional, can tell you. Aaron can tell you. Charmaine, who is out there in DC, one of our members, can tell you. You start doing things. We just had a conversation in our monthly call about she's running like a major marketing campaign, and yet she's getting back into playing her trumpet. It's like you can't stay still when you're around doers. And if you want to set yourself up for summer success, you've got to get around more doers. Now, do you have to join 360 Gold to be around doers? No. Do it however you need to do it. But I'm just saying that you have an opportunity to be around people internationally where you can actually get this going. So I am leaving that ticker up for a little while so that you can see where to go. That offer is up until midnight Memorial Day night. So that means Monday Eastern, it will disappear. 3 months free access to our port. Now, again, you got to do the work. Let me say that right away. This is not one of those get rich quick. Oh, just follow my 5 steps and you'll have 1 million followers and get your record label. You'll get your record deal. Nope. All of the people in this program are workers. They're doers. They are not the people who just sit around and wait for someone to like hand them things. Now, if you do the work and you stay accountable to the things that God has put into your heart, into your mind, into your soul, then the Bible says, be of good courage and you will be successful. Follow the path, you'll be successful. So why do I have a devotional over here that's done? Why do I have another book over here that's done? Why am I able to come to you now? 230 who we just had on the program a million on his YouTube channel, and we're talking about like how he has done it. You got to go check that out. By the way, please go check out God and Gigs podcast and listen to John Mike share. We broke his up into two parts because he had so much wisdom to share. GodandGigs.com/20 233 and 234. GodandGigs.com/2. Let me see here. When your heart is in line, I got to put this up. I love this. I see it here, but I'm going to put it big because I love this right now. Thank you for sharing this. Here we go. Where is it? This is so powerful right here because you're right. When your heart is right and you're in alignment, provision finds you. Make that one of your precious points, my friend, because that is right there. Boom, boom. That's it. A proud 360 minutes. Thank you so much. Wow, that does my heart good. And I'm gonna wag my finger only because I know you're busy and I know you can't come in on the calls. And you're kind of like a legacy member, to be honest with you, Precious, because like you were there at the beginning, and I know that you can't necessarily be there all the time. But we need more of this in the group. So can you please kind of check in because I've basically given you lifetime membership. So you have to show up every once in a while. Just give us one of those little cool points and just remind us that how dope all these things are. So feel free, please, anytime to drop in because you are amazing. And this is why I'm saying what I'm saying. Because provision finds you when your heart is right and in your alignment because you are staying in the same alignment with your values, with your goals, with your purpose, and you're around people that encourage you to do that. Okay, it's so funny. I just glanced over my shoulder at this picture with my wife and I. We're married 26 years. And, I can tell you, everyone who's married knows this, that it is not easy to stay married. And I am the least of the least and the chief of sinners. So I always tell people, you need a sin. Just look at David, Moses, Abraham. Name one of the things that they did, and I probably did all of them plus twice. And so I'm very transparent about the issues that I've had, learning how to be a better man, be a better husband, be a better father, be an example of what I say I am in this program. As a creative, as a Christian, as a musician, as a husband, as a father, all those things. Like I need to answer to, my Father in heaven to say that I'm doing these things. What helps me do those things and not be hypocritical about saying I'm on a journey, I'm trying to do better? It's because I have people around me who are holding me accountable, both in my church, my people, my good fellows group at my church, which is our men's ministry, who hold me accountable. I can't lead if I'm not being led. And if you are a creative right now in a space where you are kind of a lone ranger, you're again in danger of not following through with those things. And I'm really it feels like I'm almost harping on it, but it's true. You have to be in a space where there's accountability. And accountability isn't just somebody looking over your shoulder. Accountability is internal. It's you opening yourself up to other people. It's you opening yourself up to God. It's you opening. I account. In other words, I allow myself to be counted. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. Put a yes in the comments if that makes sense. Being accountable means deciding I can be counted. It's raising your hand when nobody asks you to raise your hand. It's being counted and being open to being counted when you could hide. Okay? So that is the part that I really feel like a lot of creatives, to be honest with you, we shy away from. We don't like being held accountable because it forces us to raise our hand and be transparent when it's not convenient. It's not convenient to be transparent. Oh wait, let me do this. What was I about to do? There we go. It's not convenient to be transparent. It's not convenient to be to show up on a Zoom call when you don't really have to. It's not convenient to say, hey, I'm going to, for 3 months, I'm going to let other creatives see everything I'm doing. I'm going to, for this whole summer, I am not going to be I'm not going to allow excuses to. Now, by the way, I'm talking to myself as I'm sharing this with you. Um, for 3 months, if anything stops me from doing this, I'm pointing the finger at me. I'm not pointing the finger at the industry. I'm not pointing the finger at my competition. I'm not pointing the finger at my clock, my time. None of these other things are going to be the things that stop me. So the reason again that the summer of success means a lot to me is because I just said it to my friend on the phone, like literally. Um, I can't. This has to work. Okay. You see me sending these emails, and if you're in this group and you see me sending emails and you send me like ramping up, and you kind of get sick of me for about the next 2 or 3 days, it's because I'm not taking no for an answer. It's because I say God has given me a gift and given me something to share, and I've got to share it. And I cannot let my ego, my pride, my fear, my insecurities, any of those things get in the way, which means I need to make myself uncomfortable. And if you make yourself uncomfortable by being in accountability with other people, you're now sowing the seeds that will allow you to have that new birth of direction, that new birth of understanding, that new birth of where the summer is like things start clicking. But it's because you made the commitment to be accountable at the get go, which means being uncomfortable. And it's probably uncomfortable for me to come up to you and say, you need to join my program for 3 months and make yourself accountable to other creatives who know what you want to know and grow, want to grow the way you want to grow. And if I share this because I'm confident, it's because I've got the Aarons and the Simoneys and the Preciouses. Preciouses, that's such a weird word. Sorry, Precious. It's plural, right? I've got people like that who I can say, look, they're doing it. And they're doing it because they have opened themselves up to being accountable and having other people say, hey, what you doing? What's going on? How's that going for you? What? And here's the funny thing, and I might be ranting. His, I don't know if I can put this right. If I'm wrong, please comment and tell me I'm off. Um, isn't it funny that those who I've seen a lot of amazing successful people in creative spaces, and I would think that the people who are super uh, successful will kind of graduate from some of these issues. And what I found is like the more success they have, the more they sound like the people who haven't done anything at all. The people who are the conversations you would think would change. And so yes, they do change in terms of maybe the month and the money or the followers. But when I talk to John Mike, who has 7 million followers more than me, and we're talking about marriage, it's like, yo, we're having the exact same issue of turning off our brains and being able to like focus on our wives. So the conversations as you get higher change in terms of the numerical, but in terms of the spiritual, they don't change. In terms of the creative and inspirational, the conversations do not change. So my question to you is this: what are your conversations right now? What are your conversations like? Who are you talking to on a regular basis that is feeding your creative drive and your flow? Because if you change your conversations, you will change your results. If you change your conversations, you will change your trajectory. If you change and really can become intentional about the conversations you're having, which is why what we have bi-weekly, monthly calls in our Guided Gigs 360, are all calls, we call them. And people show up and you think, you mean you don't have this 5-step program, 7-step program? Yes, but that's not really what creates the change. I have a blueprint in Guided Gigs 360. We have what we tell you in my book, where we tell you how to stay connected to God, how to establish your priorities, how to respect the business, how to visualize your goals, how to invest in your craft, how to challenge yourself to grow and evangelize through your gifts. That's there. But all of that there, having the 7 steps, the 7 service steps, does not mean you'll actually change. My friend Andy Andrews, look up Andy Andrews, you guys. Andy Andrews is amazing. He's an author. Andy Andrews said, only 2 things will make change, make you actually change. what's in it for me, and proof beyond a reasonable doubt. So the only things that really make you change is when you realize you have a personal stake in it. What's in it for me? And proof beyond a reasonable doubt means you have no question that it's time to move forward with this thing or this decision because you have now been convinced. You've been convinced it's time to do something. I got to change. That's the only thing. So, how do you get proof beyond a reasonable doubt? You talk to people who have been there. Precious, you just said it. How do you get to the point where you realize what's in it for me? It's when you talk to people who have been there, who've done it, and you say, I've seen results. You can have results. I've made it through this situation. You can go through this situation. I've seen how God moved in this situation. I would love to see you move in this situation, God move in your situation. Conversations. So I would love to tell you that there's a 10-step process that will guarantee you success. But what I'm really telling you, it's a one-step process. It's talk, it's share, it's accountability, it's don't stay isolated. If you do that, and I did not expect to go this deep today. I apologize. I hope you guys that are watching this on replay or watching live, I hope you're not realizing I'm going like, like going a mile a minute. And this is not even the podcast. I still have to do a podcast after this, which I may just harp on this for a little while because this is where my brain is at right now. But this is where the rubber meets the road. Are you willing to be accountable? Are you willing to put 3 months of your life into a kind of little pressure cooker and say, okay, something's coming out of this, no matter what. Something's coming out of this. Thank you so much, Precious. I appreciate you so much. I really, really, really appreciate you jumping in. And like I said, I know that this is a holiday weekend, so I did not worry too much about 1,000 people coming in. Not my intention. It was more just to make sure that I shared this with you so that if you're watching this later on a replay, you're like, oh, wait, what's going on? What's I'm talking about? Why is this summer of success thing? I want to make it clear and put it in context that it didn't really matter whether you signed up or not, because these principles do not only apply to God Gigs 360. These principles apply to anyone in any creative space. If you are faith focused, a believer, and know that God is leading you, and you know that God put something in your heart, and you should be doing it. I've been there, done that, bought the T-shirt. So I know that really the only way this happens is if you commit to some type of accountability in group and setting where you are interacting consistently with other people who are trying to do the same thing you are. So we made it available to you, Guiding Gigs 360 slash, I'm sorry, guidinggigs.com/summer23. So that's how you get into a program where you have now 3 months of free access and you don't have any excuses, no money to deal with. We'll offer you some weekly and monthly programs that will help you like lock it in if you like. That's going to be totally your option. But the actual joining is free, and if you decide not to stay, you've literally got 3 months of accountability at no cost. And it's my goal is to see you succeed, not to build the program. If the program grows and I have 1,000 new members, great. That's not the biggest issue. My goal is to see more people succeed as creators with the God-given gifts that are inside them. And if that happens, then I'm successful, then the program will grow itself because people will talk about it and they'll realize again that there's proof beyond a reasonable doubt, and they'll realize what's in it for them. And so that to me is the goal, is see success in your summers. If your summer is successful, I'm successful. If your summer is a creative dream come true, then the summer success is a dream come true. So I've been almost 45 minutes, didn't realize I was going to go that long. But I've kind of again spelled out what the offer is. If you're watching this later and you missed out on it, it's cool. I mean, this is still from my heart that you need to have accountability. It still matters that you don't stay isolated. It still matters that your results will change when your conversations change. So none of this is only for the program, but it is for the Memorial Day weekend, your one opportunity to join for 12 weeks free, which will never happen again. I'm pretty sure of that. And to keep the price down a half of the membership cost for the rest of your life, which will probably never happen again. And yeah, that is why I wanted to make sure I came on here live. and shared it with you. And if you're watching later because you were out on the beach or boats or doing whatever, then yeah, I get it. Like you had to travel. Cool. I hope you caught this. I'll send this out to some of our friends to see if they can catch on. But I really felt that from the heart that I really want to share this with you. And it was absolutely actually a blessing for me to share it. I am committed now more than ever to be accountable and to see this summer be my most successful ever. I hope it's the same for you. I hope that if you've watched this all the way through, Precious, my friend, and some of the other people that dropped by, I saw you. Wish I could have gotten on Instagram. That bothered me to death. But yeah, I just have to like maybe I'll post something else later or repost this on Instagram later so that you all can see it as well. Only because again, this is from the heart. This really matters to me that you have a source, a place to go where you can grow from the inside out to become the God-centered, God-focused, blessed creator that God created you to be. That's my goal. So we're going to jump off now. I'm going to thank you so much for being a part of this. If you watched all the way through or just a portion of it, make sure you join us at godandgigs.com. If you haven't found our podcast yet, let's go ahead and share that. Make sure you know we're pretty simple. Just go to godandgigs.com/podcast. You can find all of our links, Spotify, YouTube. And by the way, you can also support us. You can support this mission by simply going to, there's a couple of ways to do that. One is if you go to the podcast, you'll see a link where you can actually become a monthly subscriber via a small donation, $3, $4, $5 a month. You can do that. That would be amazing. You can also buy me a coffee, which is really cool. You can go over here. Let me show you this little QR code here. I know it's hard to scan when you're like watching this, but if you want to go to this URL, wait, it pop up? Ah, it didn't show. Why didn't it show? Maybe I got too many things going. Well, there it is. So I don't know if you can scan that while you're watching, but if you can scan that, you can also get us a coffee, which is again like a $5, $10 thing, just a little small thing that you can do to support this particular program so that we can help you. Because as you see, we're doing this 3 free months. We could definitely use all the support we can get in the meantime. Thanks. Yeah, it's up now. I see that. I can't really move it. I wonder if I should move it over so you can. It's like on the corner where. Yeah, I don't know if we can move it to the other side. Nope, won't let me move it. Oh well, it's fine. So yeah, if you want to click on that, take a picture of that, and then you can scan it later, and that way you can buy me a little coffee, help me support you as I stay caffeinated, as I have my coffee right here. You can see my coffee mug, my from my mom that got it from I believe Liberia or Ghana. I'm not sure where she was traveling. But anyway, now I'm just like kind of just shooting the breeze. I don't want to keep you too long on this holiday weekend as you get ready for whatever you're getting ready to do on Memorial Day weekend. So have a blessed Memorial Day. Remember those of us, those who are American soldiers who fought and gave the ultimate sacrifice. Remember the meaning behind Memorial Day, but also enjoy it. Hopefully I'll have a podcast out pretty soon for Memorial Day. We will not take a day off, but it'll probably be something really short. And then we'll get into some more stuff. I'm going to be planning some really cool stuff on the podcast coming out really soon, and lots of cool stuff happening in the membership. So if you're there, you're going to find out what we're planning in God Against 360. But that's all for tonight. Thank you so much for joining me tonight or whenever you are watching this on replay. God bless you. And hopefully I will see you around in God Against 360 Gold. Take care.